Welcome to the opening executive panel of Paper Week Canada 2015. I truly hope you will make the most of this extraordinary learning and networking expert opportunity. We really have an amazing program lined up for you.
We're extremely pleased to have this impressive panel of industry leaders to kick off Paper Week. And so I would like to welcome Mr. Glenn Mason, Assistant Deputy Minister, Canadian Forest Service and NRCan, Mr. David Lindsay, President and CEO of the Forest Products Association of Canada, Mr. Pierre Lapointe, President and CEO of FP Innovations, and Mr. Stephen Atkinson, Vice President, Paper and Forest Products, Dundee Capital Markets.
First to Yvon and Greg and the organizing team at PAPTEC, thank you very much for putting together another successful conference, and thank you for inviting us to be part of the kickoff panel this morning. It's a great pleasure to be on the stage with Glenn and Pierre and Stephen. You're going to hear some common themes coming through. The three of us on a panel together like this, able to complete each other's sentences as we sometimes do, suggests that there's a lot more alignment in the Canadian forest products industry. I'm quite pleased to consider both Glenn as a very successful ADM inside the federal government and Pierre as the executive lead of FP Innovations to be working with them to help advance the agenda of the industry. Transformation is a journey. And we can talk about all the technical specific things each of us are doing in our mills or with our companies, in our head offices, or in government, or in the advocacy organization, or in the research community. But it's an organic whole. No one part can do it themselves. We need to all be working together, and we need to think of it like a journey. It's not one success, it's not one step, it's a million steps to make it all happen.
Yes, there's a structural decline in number of fields. Yes, we have aging infrastructure. And yes, capacity is growing in a few other countries.
We're standing in front of a huge avalanche, which is called the future. The future doesn't just happen by itself. Each of you are a part of defining it. The forest sector has the responsibility to define its own future. So, some of you alluded to this earlier. Is tabula rasa required or not?
The point I was trying to make in my presentation was that we've got the fundamentals. So it's not we need to tear everything down we need to figure out what the right bolt-on opportunities are, which speaks to some of the challenge we have as an industry going from a commodity-based industry to a customer-focused based industry. Part of the conversation we haven't dwelt on much today is the mind change from a bulk commodity producer to a customer-focused niche producer. You need both. You don't cut the tree down just for one product. You cut the tree down for the whole of the product. So you'll have lumber, you'll have pulp, you'll have paper, but those higher value-added extra products are going to require customers and a customer supply chain. So it's not tear down everything we're doing, it's add on to what we're doing.
So is there something that is not being communicated properly in terms of where or how the Canadian forest sector aligns?
We are, on the global scale, smaller companies than some of our international competitors. So mergers, acquisitions, consolidations, growth, it has got to be part of the business mix. One of our member companies, Louisiana Pacific, embarked on a procurement of Ainsworth. Now, it's not on the lumber side, this is not on the pulp side, but they're still in the forest products business. And the Competition Bureau looked at that from a regional market competition. There'd be too much concentration of oriented strand board manufacturing in this part of the country. There'd be too much competition of this lumber product in this part of the country. Well, this is a global business. So I think the Competition Bureau and the way we look at growing businesses in Canada it's not shyness so much as fear of bigness or fear of multinational investment. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure shy is the right word. But we had an example of a company that's a big investor in Canada, a big employer in Canada that wanted to grow, and the US and the Canadian Competition Bureau said it was going to interfere with regional competition. Well, they sell OSB globally. They sell products around the world. It's not just a regional competition issue. So I think we need to look at all of our policies as well as all of our psychology as Canadians. We want to be big and successful, not just nice. We want to be nice and big and successful.
Yeah, just to echo, West Fraser bought Weldwood, and so Competition Canada said you have to sell this. You have a concentration of ownership in Burns Lake. You know, the first thing when I saw that was, where's Burns Lake? And it's in far north BC.
Right.
They had to sell it, and a U.S. firm, Hampton Lubden, bought it. But why?
Yeah.
Right.
Another example.
Yeah.
So we're running out of time, and I'm sure this discussion, and I'm sure it will continue in the hallways, but maybe we can conclude on an exciting note. So without necessarily describing all that's in your crystal balls, what recent breakthroughs, according to you, have the largest, economic potential?
Cellulose filament for us, that's for sure, and tall building. Those two are biggies that will be game changer.
And I would add to that the sugar stream and the opportunities there, as well as lignin.
Right.
So just to add to the pile, it's product innovation, but it's also business model innovation.
Yeah.
So shifting from just a commodity producer to a customer-focused producer is going to be part of the transformation journey, and we're starting to see it. We just need to recognize that, and with some of the iFit applications, I'm sure you will see specific one-of products which would supply a global market chain. And so we got to think about the business model. How do we compete globally on specific products? And that's look at the customer as opposed to look at just the market.
I would say on the upstream, Greg, we really will see something happening on intelligent inventory, intelligent harvesting, and integrated sawmills. Right. And that's going to be a high requirement for Eastern Canada, that's for sure. And that's urgent.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Please join me in thanking our panelists.